action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNI news video. Now I'm going to try and keep today's fairly short. I don't have a ton of stuff, but just enough that I want to go on and crank out another video this week. I did one earlier this week, and who knows how next week is going to go, so I just thought I would go on and put out a news video today. Now, one thing to note, I do have a story that's Marvel related that does contain spoilers for the upcoming Falcon and Winter Soldier series that's going to be airing on Disney+. I will save that one for last, and if you don't want any spoilers for that show, at that point you can just turn off the video, and I'll let you guys know when that story is coming up. But before we get to the Marvel stuff, let's jump into some Transformer news. And first thing I wanted to share, this is actually a couple weeks old. I forgot to mention this in the last news video. But for you fans of the Masterpiece line, which is the line that I primarily collect when it comes to Transformers, we are going to be getting, well, according to Takara, they're going to be doing a number of different Masterpieces this year. But the one they've actually officially announced to be coming in 2021 is the Autobot known as Skids. Which, you know, out of all the first two seasons from the cartoon characters that they could do, Skids is probably not high up on my list. I don't even really remember him that much from the cartoon. I remember Skids more from the comic books, and the toy, of course, the original toy is one that I had. So I will definitely pick this one up, but you know, there are others that I would, like a Jazz or what have you, that I probably would have rather seen announced before this one. I almost want to say that I thought they had announced a Jazz at one point, but I guess not. But anyway, Skids is apparently coming in 2021 from Takara for the Masterpiece line. And then another overseas company that goes by the name of Flame Toys, which has been doing model kit type figures of Transformers, a lot of movie stuff and such, but they're going to be doing a G1 RC. These don't actually transform, so you just get the robot modes with these. But Flame Toys is going to be doing one of their model kits for a G1 version of RC. And the G1 Masterpiece of RC is starting to hit now. It's starting to hit overseas, and online e-tailers that sell the Masterpiece stuff should be getting that stuff in stock very soon if they haven't already. And then while we're on the subject of Flame Toys, they also announced here recently that they are going to be doing some 7-inch scale type figures. It's part of a line that they call the Haito Karakuri line, I think is how you pronounce it. Maybe not, but close enough. But again, these figures tend to be about 7-inch in scale. They've only done one figure in this line so far, which is based on the Arkham Knight video game. They did the actual Arkham Knight character. And the figure, that one, you know, it stands at about 7 inches tall. It cost in the neighborhood of $200. It was said to have about 80 points of articulation. And so the two new figures that they've announced, which they only showed concept art for, is another Batman figure. This one also from the Arkham games, but Arkham Batman himself. And then totally separate from DC, it looks like they're going to be branching into GIJoe with this line. And they announced that they're going to be doing a Snake Eyes figure. So definitely kind of on the higher price side, but you know, I haven't ever had the Arkham Knight one in hand or anything, but based on images and stuff that I'd seen, and I'd seen it at some conventions and such, you know, it was a pretty nice looking figure. Sticking with the GIJoe theme, I also wanted to let you guys know that you can look for a new running variant of the GIJoe classified 6-inch Duke figure from Wave 1. So this initial image was brought to my attention by Dan Atwood, who posted this from a Facebook page. I don't know the original source of this image, but basically they, according to Dan, the person who took this picture had ordered the Duke from Amazon, and this is the version that they ended up getting. And you can see there are some differences. This is very similar to the Roadblock and Scarlet figure that had been previously announced. Now, the main thing to note here, other than just the paint decos, is these appear to be, you know, I've been doing some checking once this Duke image kind of surfaced, because I wasn't entirely sure that, you know, if it was legit, just because it didn't seem to kind of fit with any of the releases that we had heard. But, you know, while, you know, initially when we heard about the Duke and Roadblock and Scarlet figures that were getting these paint deco updates, you know, they were kind of listed as new figures, you know, in a new wave, in Wave 3 with the Zartan and the Cobra Trooper. But really what it's sounding more like is these are being done as running changes. So as Hasbro goes through their initial inventory of those original figures from the first wave, and retailers, who didn't order a lot, I think it's pretty safe to say that retailers did not order a lot of the first wave of GIJoe figures because they didn't think there was going to be the demand for it. But now as they're kind of scrambling to play catch up and get more of those figures in stock, they're placing new orders and such. And as that happens, I think what you're going to see is those original figures are phased out. And then when retailers get new inventory of these figures, it's going to be these updated paint deco versions. So I don't really collect for value purposes, but I guess I would say that if you have the original figures, I wouldn't necessarily go out and try and buy them and pay lots of money for them now at this point. But if you happen to have the original figures, the original Wave 1 figures, I'd probably hold on to them and maybe even keep them in the packaging, because those could conceivably be considered rare at some point, and their value could go up. Again, not really a reason why I collect, but unlike scalpers that artificially inflate the prices on these things, a lot of times these are figures that I could actually see being really rare, therefore being really valuable. So just something to note. But with the Duke figure, you can see primarily just like we saw with the Scarlet and the Roadblock, they remove like the red from the gloves and the shoulder pads. They remove the light blue colors like on the shin guards, and they changed the gold on the shin guards from to silver. So just kind of toned down the colors. They removed the gold stripping on the rifle. It's a solid black color now, you can see in this image. They for some reason did not remove the gold on the pistol. They kept that, but the rifle, in my opinion, looks a lot better than the first one that we got. And I probably wouldn't run out and buy this figure since I do have the Wave 1 just because of these minor paint decos. But if you haven't gotten that, if you missed out on these figures the first time around, I do think these new paint decos look a little bit better than the original ones. And if you're wondering, I haven't confirmed with every single retailer out there, but I have confirmed with like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, and they did confirm for me that like if you go and pre-order, right now, because they sold through their initial stock of the classified figures they had gotten from Hasbro, and so they reordered, solid cases of like Duke and Scarlet and Roadblock, and they confirmed for me like if you go and you pre-order Duke now, they've not yet gotten updated images from Hasbro. Those were supposed to be coming very soon, but last time I checked, they're still using the old images. But like with the Duke, if you pre-order it from there, you're going to get the new version with the new deco. You're not going to get the original one. And once Hasbro gets around to actually releasing official images of the updated deco, you should see e-tailers switching that out. Now, if you go to like Amazon, they just say deco could vary. And so, Amazon might still be holding on to older stock, and therefore it's probably a hit or miss. And same thing out in the wild, if you do happen to find them at retail, you might still find the older figures at least for a little while. And then like Roadblock is probably going to be the easiest. If you want to get the original Roadblock, that one is probably going to be the easiest to get, because as I understand it, there are more of the original of those Roadblocks still out there that retailers haven't sold through their initial inventory or are still getting from Hasbro, as opposed to the new version. So Roadblock out of the three, Scarlet, Duke, and him, I think will be the easiest if you want to get the originals. And like I said, if you go to Big Bad Toy Store and you want to get the new updated deco version, if you pre-order the one they have on their website, that is the one that you're actually going to get. For you Star Trek fans, a new company has hit the scene, a company by the name of X06. And they announced this week that they're going to be doing a new line of 1/6 scale high-end Star Trek figures. So the first figure that they announced that they're going to be releasing is Lieutenant Commander Data from the Star Trek First Contact movie, the one with the Borgs. So that's the first figure they're doing. I don't have any pricing information yet, and I don't know. They indicate in their press release that they'll be selling this figure directly on their website, but I don't know if other places like, say, our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store are going to be picking up this line or not. And I don't have any pricing information. I suspect this looks like in par with something you would see for Hot Toys, so I'm guessing you're probably going to be looking at least over $100 and maybe even in the $200 range. But you get like multiple head sculpts with the Data. You get the one with his normal face, and then you get the one where the Borg were trying to put human skin on his face. He comes with a phaser pistol and rifle. He's got his uniform from the movie, from the newer movies. So you know, I'm not big into 12-inch figures, and you know, so this doesn't appeal to me very much overall, but I am kind of glad to see that they're not starting out with the normal Captain Kirk and Picard figures that we see everybody do whenever they pick up the Star Trek line. So at least it's something a little bit different. You know, other companies have done 12-inch figures of Star Trek characters before, and we'll have to see how far they take the line. Not specifically toy related, but I did want to go on and pass this news on to you. So for you fans of Dungeons and Dragons, and I know a lot of you have been asking about, you know, whether Hasbro is going to be doing action figures. You know, they premiered that one figure at PulseCon last year, but they really have not said anything about doing further figures. And I know a lot of you also want to see figures based on the original 80s animated series. Well, there had been, you know, news indications that there was a movie coming from Hasbro and Entertainment One, which is now owned by Hasbro. So that seems to be coming, which, if I remember correctly, like actor Chris Pine was said that he was going to be taking a role in that movie. But now, apparently, on top of the movie, they are going to be doing a live-action TV series based on Dungeons and Dragons, and this is said to be the writer Derek Kolstad, who basically is the one responsible for the John Wick movies. He's going to be working on this project. So bringing it back to action figures, you know, with a live-action movie and a live-action TV series, I think that almost guarantees 100% that Hasbro at some point will do a line of action figures, and I very much suspect that they would do some type of collector-oriented line based on the animated series, since I know there's quite a bit of demand for those. So we'll have to wait and see. Nothing official, obviously, but to me it's not a question of if, but more when, and as any details come available for that, I'll let you guys know. And as far as like this year is not going to be a normal year for toy news. Toy Fair has been totally canceled. It had been announced sometime back that February's Toy Fair was going to be canceled, but then there was some rumblings that they were going to try and do something in May, and they've now come out. The organization that puts on Toy Fair has said that that's not happening. So do not expect any kind of Toy Fair. I do expect companies will continue to do virtual reveals. I don't know if they'll go heavy in February during the time of Toy Fair, or if they'll just kind of string them out over the course of the year. Nobody's really given those kinds of details yet, but definitely, you know, expect for news and stuff, just kind of like we've been seeing this past year, to continue to come out via online with virtual events, virtual live streams, and things like that. Super 7 possibly is teasing a Thunder Tank. They put up a video this yesterday on Friday showing just a Thunder Tank from the cartoon with a caption that says "heading into the weekend like." Now, it's unclear here if they're actually trying to tease an upcoming product or if they're just kind of looking for attention on their social media. You know, we know they have the Thundercats license, so, you know, I don't know exactly what this is indicating. And, of course, keep in mind, even if they are trying to hint to us that a Thunder Tank of some type is coming, remember that they are also doing not only the 7-inch Ultimate figures for Thundercats, but they also do the 3.75-inch reaction figures. So honestly, if they were doing a Thunder Tank, my money would be on it being for the reaction line, even though they generally don't do vehicles for the reaction stuff, but they also really don't do vehicles for the Ultimate stuff. So I don't know. I would be interested in seeing a 7-inch scale Thunder Tank for their Thundercat figures. I would be a little wary of the price, being that the figures themselves already cost, you know, double what we generally see for that scale. But, you know, they did the Snake Mountain playset and everything, which is starting to ship to people now. So I definitely would be interested in seeing and hearing more if in fact, they're going to do a 7-inch scale Ultimates Thunder Tank. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, would you like to see them do something like that, a big giant scale vehicle like that? And, you know, even if it's going to have a hefty price tag to it, is that something you'd be interested in seeing? For you Jurassic Park fans, we've got some new images of some upcoming products that will be released by Mattel in 2021. These images come via Collect Jurassic, and the two images that I'm going to be talking about here today are for the Stegosaurus, which I believe is a new sculpted figure with quite an interesting paint scheme to it. and then a new Tyrannosaurus Rex with capture gear. So I believe, again, both of these figures are new, or at least have new sculpted parts to them, like, the Tyrannosaurus having double jointed knees and such. I don't follow every little bit of news out of the Jurassic Park front, and one dinosaur looks the same to me. So, but I do believe these are actually fairly new sculpted figures, and then with like the Tyrannosaurus, you also get that capture gear. So these should be coming out sometime this year in 2021 from Mattel. NECA Toys this week released new official images for their next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 7-inch scale Target exclusive 2-pack based on the animated series. This is the Rat King and Vernon. We'd seen some images of these figures before, but now we've gotten a whole gallery's worth. This is the next set slated for release, new set, I should say, slated for release in 2021. I don't have a specific release date, but I would suspect either at the end of this month, January, or early next month in February. So these new images, Rat King is a must-have for me, and Vernon, which, is not necessarily one I would have to have, but is looking pretty good. You get the 2 head sculpts with Vernon, with the human head and the rat head and everything. So definitely overall, this is looking pretty good. And again, this is the next new set being released in the new year. However, there are some older sets that NECA has announced should start hitting Target stores as early as next week. Some of the later sets that they released last year are getting a re-release, again, according to NECA. And again, according to them, we should start seeing these hitting shelves next week. So the Trag set, you've got the Zork set, the dinosaur set, and then the Triceratops Infantryman and Roadkill Rodney set. All 3, again, are slated for re-releases. Now, in my last news video, I talked about how I had managed to find, for the first time on shelves, some of these figures with the Splinter and Baxter. They actually had 6 on shelf. So I do think distribution is improving on these. Stores seem to be getting more than just like 2 sets of these, which is nice. It doesn't mean it's still super easy to find. I went back to Target just yesterday. I hit 2 Targets and I didn't see any Turtles stuff on shelf. But I do think the stuff is getting easier, and it's good to see that NECA is releasing some of the stuff that maybe you missed out on the first time around. So for me, these 3 out of these 3 sets, the only one I'm missing is the Trag and Granitor. So I am hoping to be able to find those at my local Target in the next week or so. And I don't know if these are also going to be made available again online. NECA didn't specifically say, but generally still online. They don't last very long, even when they do pop up. So probably your better bet, if you have a local Target, is just to start checking your stores next week. And also, as far as a shipping update, I got a shipping notification just yesterday letting me know that my metal head that I had pre-ordered directly from the NECA website is starting to come. So the metal head figures, for those of you who have been waiting for that one, if you haven't already got a shipping notice, you should be soon. For you fans of the Amazon series The Boys, we've got another figure revealed for the Mafex line. So it looks like following Homelander is going to be Billy Butcher, based on the Carl Urban character from the series. Again, these are based on the TV series, not the comic book series. And all they've shown is just this teaser image, but you can definitely tell that looks like it's Billy. So I suspect more details on this one will be coming soon. Of course, we still haven't actually gotten really official images of the Homelander figure. They had it on display at one of their virtual conventions the other month, but we have not yet gotten the official images or solicitation information for the Homelander figure. So I have no idea when Butcher is going to be released or when we'll actually see some official images for that one. Just a quick tidbit of Star Wars news to share with you guys. So this is, consider this to be a rumor until Hasbro officially confirms it. And this one comes from the folks at Yak Face, but they are reporting that for the vintage collection line, the 3.75 inch scale vintage collection line, we can expect to see figures of Emperor Palpatine. Now, it's not entirely clear to me if, the image that they showed was from Return of the Jedi. But I honestly could see this being more likely Palpatine based on the more recent Rise of Skywalker movie. And honestly, that's the one I'd rather see. but I don't know exactly if this is going to be a Return of the Jedi version or a newer version. But Emperor Palpatine is coming for the Vintage Collection line, and then the other two figures are based on the Mandalorian series, which is not terribly surprising. But they have indicated that we're going to be getting IG-11 and Quill. I imagine any 6-inch Mandalorian figure that's been announced will also end up getting the 3.75-inch treatment as well. So, again, not terribly surprising. But look for all three of those figures to be released sometime in 2021. Okay, and then finally the Marvel news. So this is spoilerish for the upcoming Disney Plus series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you don't want any spoilers for that series, this is where you want to turn the video off. So I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so it is toy related, but it's not Marvel Legend related. But thanks to a heads up from JT Prime, he let me know that over on this website, this Korean website called Safety Korea, which is one of those websites that kind of look for, give safety reports on products and stuff that are released. So for like toys, they let you know if these toys are safe for your kids to actually play with and such. So one of the figures that they had listed on there, and I don't know, since it hasn't even been announced and I doubt been released, I'm not sure where they got this information, but they got this image of what appears to be a Titan hero figure. So these are one of the figures made for the kids. But you can see here it is based on the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, upcoming series. And the spoiler here is that it features Falcon in a Captain America-like costume. And it looks very similar to the one that he wore actually in the comic books. And I would even say my initial thought was, oh, well, this is probably just a comic book based figure that they're releasing along with other Falcon and the Winter Soldier products. But if you look on the packaging there, it actually shows the actor, Anthony Mackie. He is wearing the actual outfit. So I assume this is actually something that is going to be appearing in the upcoming series. And I mean, it's not a shocker, from everything that we've seen for this series, it's not a stretch to think that at least briefly he is going to take over as the actual, take the mantle of Captain America, not just using the shield. We know he got the shield at the end of Avengers Endgame, and we've seen that in the trailers and stuff. But that he would actually, get a Captain America-like outfit, just like he did in the comics, and be Captain America for a while. It's not shocking. I think most of us suspected that was going to happen. But this is just the, most confirmed proof that that's going to happen that we've seen to date. I believe there was a toy box, Disney toy box prototype figure, unpainted prototype figure image that started making the rounds of the internet a month or so ago. But, this one shows pretty much that he almost definitely is going to have a Captain America outfit, and that it appears to be very similar to the one he had in the comic books. Now, also, just to note, news broke here recently that from Deadline, the entertainment movie website Deadline, that Chris Evans is very close to signing a deal to return to the MCU as Captain America. So, or I should say, I guess, I don't know how confirmed it is that he'll be Captain America. He could be coming back as an old man Commander Rogers, which is, again, something that we saw in the comics. But that Chris Evans is coming back to the MCU, and my guess is at some point he will eventually return as Captain America. So, which would indicate that Sam Wilson's stint as Captain America is going to be fairly short-lived. But we'll have to see how all of that plays out. And as far as the Chris Evans thing goes, they've said that basically don't expect a solo Captain America movie, a new solo Captain America movie, but that Chris Evans would be appearing in other movies, other MCU movies with like more of a supporting type role than the starring role. Okay, so that's it for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about. Let me know in the comments section below. Like this video if you're so inclined. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please stay safe out there, and that goes more than ever these days. And until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.